On today's special holiday episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to downtown Chicago, where interior designer Martin Horner and his partner Ryan Vogt show us how to entertain generously for the holidays. They're having a Christmas cocktail party for 30 guests, and they take us behind the scenes of how they prepare, from the delicious past hors d'oeuvres to the enchanting holiday decor. Discover how to throw an extravagant yet intimate gathering for the holiday season. So join us as Martin and Ryan get ready for a magical evening. You won't want to miss this.
Hello, Homeworthy. I'm Martin Horner.
And I'm Ryan Vogt.
Welcome to our home in Chicago.
We're having a holiday cocktail party for 30 guests in just 4 hours.
Come on in and see how we entertain and how we're all set up.
This holiday season, get ready to unwrap the most magnificent holiday homes with Homeworthy's 25 Days of Christmas. For the month of December, we'll take you inside the most heartwarming houses, decked out for the holidays in true festive fashion. From twinkling lights and elegantly trimmed trees to sparkling ornaments and cozy holiday charm, these homes capture the warmth, wonder, and beauty that make this season so special. So join us as Homeworthy celebrates 25 Days of Christmas. The magic starts now.
Raise your glass. Cheers! Merry Christmas! Happy holidays!
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Welcome to our foyer. This is where we'll be greeting our guests tonight. As you see, it's lavishly decorated. Some things that we always do for our holiday cocktail parties.
So to start off, we draped our front entryway here with garland.
And it's full of birds and ribbons and tartan. That was one of the themes that we're having this year. Because typically, we kind of have the same theme, but this year we played up a little bit with tartans and golds. Last year it was all silver.
And lots of birds.
One thing that's beautiful about this garland is it's made up of Douglas fir, Fraser fir, and boxwood. I love the different textures and the different colors. It really is a nice contrast.
And I think what Martin said about having the different varietals of plant material in there really helps showcase this beautiful tartan bow. It's a black, cream, and gold. Both Martin and I just love plaid. And we were recently on a trip to Scotland and really got to fall in love with all the tartans and the plaids again, learn how some of them were made, the different families. So that just kind of helped inspire our holiday party this year. And then of course we have all the beautiful frosted pine cones, again bringing in a little bit of that outside in. Even though we're in an urban environment, you still want to bring a little bit of that outdoors in during the winter season and the holiday season.
And then when you come up and you look and see, there's a lot of sparkles and there's different types of birds made out of feathers and glitter. Ryan loves birds. I mean, literally we have a house in Florida and he stops and he sees them and he goes, my birds, my birds. So that was the theme this year because that was something new that we've been talking about doing.
Yeah, and then we just love kind of how the whole mixture, the plaid, the birds, the spray, these beautiful sort of pomegranate-like sprayed gold with the beautiful touch of faux snow on them really adds to the overall elegance of the entire garland.
I think what's great about this is you see how grand and open this is. You know, Ryan and I are far apart and we're just waiting for our guests to arrive and come in the door. And plenty of places to entertain, plenty of places to actually greet them and wishing them to our holiday celebration.
One thing that really reads well in this apartment is you come through the front door, you're in this foyer, you really feel almost in some ways like you've stepped into a small scale museum, one of these sort of house museums that you see a lot in Paris, France, where it's not a huge grand museum, but it sort of has the bones, the classic architecture, and it really shows off the beauty of the home.
And one thing was added since we have the apartment, these beautiful floors. Before they're hardwood floors, now they're actually this beautiful diamond marble, which is something that kind of sets the stage, it breaks it all up, something that we feel really is quite lovely. And another really exciting thing is About 5 years ago, we were in New York, and we were at Bergdorf Goodman's, and we had this, in their lobby, they had all these twigs, and we were so excited about it. This was actually the inspiration for the twigs here at our foyer.
What's really nice about this to us is that it brings in some really nice holiday glamour, but also bringing a little of the outdoors into our home. And this is something that we've done for holiday parties, for New Year's parties. So it's sort of become, for Martin and I, a tradition to put these twigs in our front entryway chandeliers.
And we have this beautiful silver leaf ceiling that actually reflects candlelight, reflects the light, and it adds that shimmer and glamour like Ryan said.
So as we get closer to this evening and our guests arriving, we're going to start placing candles. We'll start lighting candles. You're going to get that really warm, ambient light throughout the home, which everyone looks better in.
And then over here we have this beautiful green cabinet that kind of set the stage for Christmas. It was just kind of a backdrop that we loved. The other thing is we have this beautiful Asian screen here. And tonight we're having a chef come in, and she prepared these beautiful, charming little gingerbread men. And she actually made them with pants that Ryan and I both wear. So we have stripes and we have these dots that were her favorites. We've been working with Rose for a really long time. So she made these special gingerbread men as the treat for people to get to leave when they're leaving the party.
That'll be their takeaway midnight snack.
And here we have these beautiful brass vessels with this asparagus fern strewn down with the amaryllis, something that we really, really love. We love that green, the white, and the gold. It just sets the stage. There's not a lot of color here. We let the guests be the color and the sparkle of the evening.
I think no matter what season Martin and I are entertaining friends or family in our home, we always stick with the classic green and white florals, whether that's summer, that's fall, winter, even spring. We just like the classic. We like the green and white florals throughout the seasons. Now we're entering our living room.
And then one of the focal points is this beautiful hand-carved French mantle that we have, and it's lavishly decorated with different types of garland again, and ribbons and bows. And this year we bought the deer because we now have a new house in Michigan. We always have deer in the yard, so we're inspired by our travels and the things that we see, and now we have these beautiful brass deer that's flanking our mantle here.
And I think is so beautiful is, again, the beautiful deer, the gold deer. When we were starting to prepare and buy things for our holiday decorating, we found this beautiful gold ribbon, and it was almost all sold out. But I sort of dove into the back.
He did do that too.
Clawed my way out and came up with one last roll. Originally we thought it might be our tree topper, but it ended up looking really, really beautiful, we thought, on the fireplace mantle.
Yes, and we're going to be lighting a fire before the guests come nice. It'll be a nice roaring fire, it'll be nice and warm because it's a chilly day out in Chicago. So we're really excited to have this fire going, the music going, the piano playing. Hopefully people might just break into song and we'll start singing some Christmas carols.
I think one thing that's really important to Martin and I is when we have family and friends and guests over, we love them to feel like they're in a home. We really want our home to feel like a home, to live like a house, even though it has some beautiful things in it, maybe some fancier things. Still, at the end of the day, we want our guests to come here, sit by the fire, catch up, enjoy a glass of champagne or a cocktail, and really feel at home and welcome.
The focal point of this room is one of those other found things. This is beautiful hand-embroidered rug that I had seen from Oscar's Bearing Rug, and I, at the time, didn't have an apartment large enough to have it. Once again, fate happened. He still had this rug when we bought the apartment. It is this beautiful felt and hand embroidery French Aubusson style that he bought at the Paris flea market. So when we knew that was here, we had to have it. The other thing that's really unique about the apartment is this central sofa that we had custom designed. This is a large room that can handle 20 guests being seated around, but also we are having just the two of us. We sit here almost every evening in the wintertime with a fire and a glass of wine, and it's very intimate. And then you can also have another couple over, and as you see here, it is a perfect place to sit and have a drink. Also, what's great is during a party, I can sit like this on the end, Ryan can sit here, and our guests can sit there. So you see, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of great things to do. We pull chairs up, we pull benches up. This is about flexibility and friendship and camaraderie and everything that we love about the holiday spirit.
And don't you think it really anchors the space?
It totally does. It divides it in half, and it's perfect. It's great. And look, it's Oliver. He's coming to greet us. Oliver, look, you're at Homeworthy. Do you like that?
This is also Oliver's couch. We laugh and say that this is our home and our apartment, but it's really Oliver's, and he just allows us to live here.
And we do joke, we have 2 Perel fabrics, which is this beautiful French fabric that has been back since the 1800s, that wool fabric for Marie Antoinette, and both our couches in Perel, and we joke that Oliver has to be one of the few dogs in the country that has 2 Perel couches, right,
Maybe
Oliver?
even the world.
Maybe the world. One thing that we really like to do is we like to mix the casualness and the elegance of this apartment. So you see a lot of gold and glitter, but here you find these beautiful white berries that look like you just went out to the woods and picked them. It's opposite of what happens, something that we really, really like.
Yeah, and I love how they mix with these beautiful gold twigs. These gold twigs are the same ones that you see in the front foyer. Just obviously these are vertical, a different presentation. We mix them together. Again, like Martin said, you have a little bit of that fancy with the gold, a little bit again of bringing that outdoor into our home with the nice white winter berries.
And I think as we kind of give you the tour through the house, you're going to see our house is really collected. It's really from our travels, it's our favorite things. So you're going to see, and we'll discuss it when we walk through. There's vintage, there's antiques, there's modern, there's things that we design, custom made, things that belong to our grandparents. So it's really about how we entertain, it's how we live. It's even if the friends are coming tonight, it's a mixture of friends and a mixture of different people.
All right, so we want to show you these beautiful swags that we made to put on the 4 sconces in our living room. We just thought, again, incorporating that gold. Now we see a little bit of a different bow, a smaller scale bow with a nice white cream velvet. You have a little bit of this red winter berry in here, again, bringing a little bit of that outdoors inside. And we just thought they looked really nice on all 4 sconces and added a beautiful touch to our holiday party.
Now let's head to the other side of the room. As you can see, in the middle of the room is the Christmas tree, and it takes center stage. It's perfectly balanced off the other side of the room, so it's central, and it's elegant, and it sparkles. We did something new this year. Ryan found these wonderful little lights.
I found these beautiful little lights that I thought would just get sort of these faux candles, very nostalgic, very sort of an old school Christmas feel. Just to bring in a little bit, they're nice, about 3-4 inches. They even flicker a little bit, so they give that kind of a little bit of a candle-like feel. That nostalgic old world Christmas, bringing that in with, again, all of our ornaments that we've collected over the years. Some separately, some together.
I love getting the ornaments out every year because it always brings back memories. It reminds me of my very first Christmas when I graduated from college. At that time I was working for a department store and I was in charge of decorative home. So I had all the Christmas ornaments, so I purchased many of them and I bring them back and it takes me back years. Like this beautiful angel that we had. She was something that I bought for my very first Christmas tree. And my first holiday party, because that was also the first time I entertained back in the day. So every time I come out, it makes me really happy to see these, and we have memories. And Ryan and I actually buy Christmas ornaments every year ourselves.
I want to show you this beautiful, again, tartan plaid, our theme for our holiday cocktail party this year. Martin and I purchased this just a few months ago on our trip to Scotland. We both love the stags, very sort of a masculine, again, in the nice red tartan plaid. The Eiffel Tower. This is one of our little Eiffel Tower ornaments. To be honest, I can't remember where we purchased this, but Paris is a very special place for both Martin and I, separately and together. So we love seeing this guy every year, reminding us of our time spent overseas in France.
And here is a lion. Ryan is a Leo, so we have to have that on the tree as well. And then I kind of look and remember things. Back in the day when I was working at the department store, decorative home, I was selling Lennox Christmas ornaments, so I kept buying them every year. So I go back and I see the year that I was actually doing something in my life. So I bring back those memories. So it's a really happy day, but also when we put it away, it feels like everything's taking a nap. It's going to sleep for another year, and we'll bring it back out next year for the next excitement. And another focal point of the room is this beautiful Steinway piano. And later in the evening, during the party, you'll hear the piano player and we'll be breaking into some Christmas carols. And at every window here in the living room, you'll see these beautiful wreaths that have pine cones, these gold ribbons and balls and bells and everything, once again, just makes everything just sparkle. Every window in the first floor of the apartment we actually have, so you'll love that. The other thing here is one of our favorite artisans that we collect, her name is Linda O'Connor, and we have a lot of her pillows throughout the house. And she collects textiles from all over the world. And here you'll see things from France, Morocco, Italy. So you'll see these beautiful things, and we have these throughout the entire apartment. It's like little jewel boxes within the apartment that you'll see, and then you'll have them over here once again on our sofa. She actually made these patchworks for us. These were different type of Japanese fabrics that she made for these pillows. Opposite the fireplace, we have this beautiful painting by Jackie Kazari. She's a local artist. I met her here in Chicago. And I just wanted something bold and powerful and with the strokes. And I sit here and we can see many different things. Everybody sees different things in this painting. You'll see a beer bug over here. You see a deer. You see a roadrunner going through. So there's all these different things and different parts of it. And it's really has all this energy, and it's super dynamic against opposite the fireplace, which is actually nice and subtle.
And I think one thing that's so nice about this room, especially for the holidays and entertaining, is you have all these different seating areas. Here we have 2 antique chairs. This is sort of our bone throne chair with a little needlepoint pillow.
There's Oliver. There he is. You know, Ryan said kind of sit like a throne. I think, you know, that's what this is. It's not comfortable, but sure is good looking. Another really interesting part of this is this bar that we have. And it has multiple things we've collected. It has all different types of liquor and alcohol and glasses. Ryan is like a fanatic about collecting all these really interesting things. We have these beautiful martini shakers that are very different. We also probably have a dozen different bitters here. I think bitters adds a really nice taste any type of drink that you're making.
Right. As Martin said, we have different things. This is a bottle opener with a horse head on it. Here we have a tassel one.
We have another horse head. Ryan has horses. That's what his profession is. He's an equestrian, and he has American saddlebeds. So you can see a lot of horses in the house as well.
Here we have a cocktail pitcher from my great-grandmother. This is something we may use later to make a little cocktail for a friend or a family member at our holiday party. And it's always nice, especially around the holidays, to remember your loved ones who may be no longer with you. And this makes me happy every time I see it, because if you knew my great-grandma, this is kind of wild for her. And I'm not sure she probably ever even made a drink out of it, but we definitely use it pretty frequently.
And welcome to our library. This is a really nice, intimate, moody space, and hopefully tonight, at the end of the day, our guests will be in having a glass of wine and having really some nice, quiet conversation.
I think one thing that I want to point out in this room that's so beautiful is the color of the wall, which is buffet green by Benjamin Moore.
And we have this beautiful wallpaper by Schumacher that we actually just installed this last week. Something to bring in something a little bit more moody and something really interesting in. As you can see, I like a little leopard, so I think this little spot here brought in this, added a leather layer of texture.
Here we have a pair of these beautiful deco chairs in an awesome leopard fabric. We got these chairs from our dear friend Doug Van Tress at the Golden Triangle, which is a lovely antique shop here locally in Chicago.
And I think one thing that's really interesting about this space, it's full of really different collectible things. It's not only about books, it's also about art, objects, our travels. As I look around here, I see so many great memories. It makes me really happy to be in this space. Also, the other thing is that we have this beautiful collection of the glass crystal obelisks in the corner.
I think one thing that's so important when it comes to designing your home and filling it is having collections. And this is such an awesome collection that Martin's collected over the years. I've recently added in some ones that I found. This one has an orange base, something a little wild. Plays nicely off of the orange pillows.
And then looking up at the art there, this is a local artist. We went to the Art Institute of Chicago. It's Andrew Holmquist. This is a young artist that we met through Carrie Seacrest Gallery, who's going to be here later tonight. But it was one of Andrew's earlier pieces, and we have another piece also in the living room. I like collecting art from a young artist who's kind of up and coming. One person that we have in the room is actually a portrait of myself. This was a surprise gift from Arnold Anderson, who's an artist from Latvia, and he painted this for me and sent it to me, and it was a total surprise. And it's set in the living room. I just kept staring. I think this is a little strange, but when I look at it now, I think it really did capture me of who that is. And I hung it up in the library, and many people, when I'm on Zoom calls, in the back they say, "My gosh, is that a portrait of you?" I said, "Yes, it is." So you'll see here a lot of different things that you'll see in the library. A collection here on the table. We have a bone bowl that has photos from our life together. So you'll see, and it's great to see people, coming over here and picking up pictures and seeing, all the different things of people's lives. You see, Ryan's family, my family, back in college days, there's the Derby. I mean, it just brings back so much good memories, and this library is all about that.
Yeah, I think one thing that is still really important to us, and not many people do these days, and this is something I think I get from my grandmother, is printing out photos. I think printing out photos is so important because you physically have them, you can physically touch them. I'm a big someone that has to physically touch a book, look at a photo, read a magazine, feel a fabric. You can't really excite and get a sense of all your senses without that physical object. So we love to still print out photos. So we probably have at least 6 to 5 decades worth of photos in there amongst us.
So I actually love the library. There's so many interesting things here. We said earlier that Ryan is equestrian, and I see this wonderful painting of 3 horses that's above the sofa here. The interesting thing is that I actually saw that when I was in college, and I walked into a friend's house, and it was sitting there, and he became my design mentor, and it was over his desk, and here it sits in my library, and that makes me really happy to see that. So it's my past, my history. It brings my design mentor in. And another interesting thing is he has unfortunately passed, and these are actually his clothes. And we've had Linda O'Connor, like we talked about earlier, and these are his clothes that we have made into pillows. So Johnny is always with us, and here he is on the couch. He's here at this cocktail party tonight, and he would be the part of the party, and he'd be really happy to be here. So I'm very happy that we can talk about this. And there's his horses that we have. There's the bookends. Also, I think something that is beautiful and a little collected. I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable thing, but these horn chairs, we have 2 of them here. This makes you sit very properly. This is a Victorian horn chair, and I'm sitting here not wanting to sit back because I'll probably rip my blazer, which I don't want to do. And over on the other side, we have another horn chair that will show you as well. And I look up and I see the different vintage sconces that were originally to the apartment from 1927. That is one of the few things of light pictures that we've actually kept. And then you have this beautiful inlay coffee table. Ryan found this in one of his pursuits.
This I actually found one day. Often Martin and I love to take the time to drive up to Michigan, Southwest Michigan, and antique there, visit friends who own antique shops there. And this was one of our Sunday finds. We ended up putting in the back of the car, throwing Oliver in there. He barely had any room, and we took this home, and we think it really just is beautiful in this space and really anchors the room.
Yes. There's just so many different things. When we're having the party night, I many times find guests in here, and they're looking around, and they say it's their favorite room of the house because they see so many different things that we have and the place that we do. And once I tell them the history of things, they really love it. And I just see them picking things up and objects, and they're literally learning the history of our relationship and who we are.
Yeah, I would say this is sort of our cabinet of curiosities. And
that's a perfect way of saying it.
What's interesting is, of course, like Martin said, we've added to it over time. I mean, I look around, there's so many things in here. I happen to love this collection of antler wall mounts. I think that's just very handsome, very masculine. Again, brings a little bit of that outside in, especially around the holidays, especially for our holiday cocktail party. You have the antler mounts, really makes it feel Christmassy.
As we sit into the library, what you'll see is, like Ryan said, it's a cabinet of curiosity. It's really casual in here. Things are not formally placed. It's kind of like, it's curated, but not really. We just kind of keep adding to it. And I like that it's not so formal, and it's really like you feel like you can come up and touch it. You can come here and you can see this wonderful letter, has a Springer Spaniel on it, and this is for mail back in the Victorian era. So once again, all these little fun things that you'll find. This beautiful box collection that has all these beautiful inlays. We have a little, I think this is kind of charming. It's a way to use a toast stand. People don't use them today, but I like to put my business cards in here and little note cards. I think that's really nice. And then this is where I work. I have most of my Zoom meetings in here. And I think my clients get to see our personality when they see the backdrop. My office downtown is very different than this, but this is really kind of showing our personality and what it is. And there's that other horn chair.
Right, we add to our horn chair collection. This one is in a beautiful purple velvet. I love the horn chair with the antlers. I have an obsession with both. And this is something that Martin and I both love, are these Victorian horn chairs. I think they're so sculptural. Again, like he said, maybe not the most comfortable, but this is something that whenever people see, it's always a conversation starter. And this one we bought at the Nashville Antique Show, had it recovered, and I really love sort of the shape of this one. It's a really special one.
And now, welcome to our dining room. This is where all the food and this is where all the action is going to happen. Our chef, Rose Dunn, who's the chef at the Wickwood Inn, which we own in Saugatuck, Michigan, is here. She's preparing this beautiful amount of food, and we have this beautiful, lavish display that you're seeing here. This is before she brings the food out, so let's kind of explain what we're going to be having.
And so we've started with our beautiful centerpiece. This is a gold faux branch centerpiece that holds these candles, which we really kind of started off when we thought about how we're going to present our nibbles and our food for this evening at the holiday party. The beautiful candles are lit, the floral arrangements are by it.
And then the other thing is that, yeah, let's pick this up because we collect all this beautiful gold French porcelain. So you're going to see a lot of this being used tonight. We've been collecting this for years, so there's a lot of different things. And then here's my grandmother's Haviland plates, which is also really interesting because on my mom's side, my grandmother had the Haviland plates. On my dad's side, my great-grandmother had the Haviland plates, and we ended up with all of them. So I think that's really great. You'll see those here. Also, I think it's during the holidays, it's the perfect time to bring out the silver. As you can see here, bring out the family silver. People say don't use it. We love to use it. I think it's something that, we should have it. Why not use it?
Use it, right?
Yes. And then as you see here, just kind of going through the space, we have this beautiful kind of 1930s Viennese chandelier that kind of the focal point. It's kind of modern, it's kind of deco. And Rose has prepared this beautiful candied fruit for us. As you can see here, these are all persimmons and they're tangerines and cherries and beautiful grapes. And so this is like a still life. So once again, Ryan said earlier, this is the nostalgic kind of holiday Christmas that we have. And it's also edible. And here is this big focal point, this beautiful, lovely, hand-painted Asian screen. And what's really interesting is originally when we bought the apartment, there was a window here that had really bad stained glass. So we had it bricked up and covered so we can display this. And we have these beautiful leaping deer. They're from a house in Thailand, and they were up in the rafters. So I think those are something that's really lovely for the holidays. We have them every day.
So here we place these two wreaths, getting it ready for our holiday cocktail party. We love putting the wreaths in the front window. You see them, guests see them from the inside. You can also see them as well from the outside. We added these beautiful velvet bows. We really felt in this room that the velvet would hold its own. It's a very sort of rich, elegant room. We added these nice little gold balls, sort of looking like little groups of gold holly within there. We have the pine cones as well. We made sure that the wreaths were perfectly centered in the window. And it's such a beautiful focal point as guests are coming into the room, getting their desserts, their nibbles. I really love how the wreaths, the gold, plays off of these beautiful silk drapes.
And another thing that we're standing on, I have a rug collection, and this is one of our rugs from Sheer. And I think once again, you'll see kind of throughout the apartment, you'll see these throughout. And this is that silk and linen and wool. I think it kind of shimmers underneath what we have here. It's really quite lovely. Then we have this beautiful 1940s Italian commode with this burl walnut at front. I just actually love this. And then once again, we have this beautiful photography from Julie Meridian. She's a local artist here in Evanston, and we met her, and I love the kind of the black and white on the opposite here, and the hands holding out, just beautiful.
Yeah, and I think those really play again nicely off of the Asian screen. You have the modern photography, the Asian screen. You have sort of this mid-century modern painting over here of this gentleman sitting.
And this was a commode that we actually designed. So this is hand tool leather with these beautiful rivets. So this is where we store a lot of our holiday decorations when we're not in use.
Yeah, this room sort of is the holiday storage room. They're beautifully stored within the beautiful case pieces.
And Ryan and I use this room every single night. We have dinner here. We sit at a formal table even if we're having pizza. We always do. And we pull out different china. We just like having it. It's like you said earlier, like, why have it if you don't use it? So this, you see, this is what we have. Now we're going to walk into our butler's pantry, and you can see all of this china that we've been collecting over the years. Come on, follow us. And welcome to our butler's pantry. This is one of our favorite places because we have all these beautiful collections of plates and china and crystal that we collected throughout our lives.
Here we have a collection of beautiful English, antique English china. We really love this pattern, especially in the fall. Perfect Thanksgiving pattern.
And then we talked about having our grandparents' china. Here you have stacks and stacks of the different Haviland that we have. So you'll see having this beautiful Haviland china. We also have pieces that I collected when I was right out of college again because I was part of Decorative Home when I worked at the department store. So of course I had to buy more china.
And I think one thing that's really nice about having a china collection is you can have family heirlooms, you can buy your own. These I think are beautiful. We're actually using them tonight for the holiday party for dessert. And these I bought at a thrift shop for maybe $5 for about 10 of them. So China is out there and it's accessible at any price point, and we really love Martin. I really love mixing and matching along with our teams who help us put on our various dinner parties and our holiday parties. And I was teasing Chef Rose earlier when she was in here. I said, "Oh, you're shopping." You know, she likes to come and shop our collection when we get ready, when Martin and I get ready to entertain.
And speaking of Chef Rose, let's go check in with her and see how things are coming along. Hi, Chef Rose. How's it going?
Hi, Martin. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Rose.
How's everything tonight?
It's been great. We're very excited. And first, I want you to tell people, like, what are we having this evening?
Oh my gosh, Martin and Ryan loves to have party, and they love to have bite-sized finger hors d'oeuvres food. And tonight we're serving smoked salmon on pumpernickel.
I must have one of these, Rose. I have to taste it. It looks so delicious. Let me have this. Mmm. Mmm.
And then we're also
Delicious.
doing cream puffs stuffed with chicken salad here. And then for dessert, we're having these decorated gingerbread people that I'm decorating here. And then we have meringue mushroom, little meringue mushrooms.
You look amazing, Rose.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
love the mushrooms.
Yeah, they're easy bite size and they're just like gluten-free.
They're gluten-free. Again, bringing a little bit of the outdoors inside for the holiday party.
You know, we've been working with Chef now for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And
Been a while.
working with Rose has been amazing. You know, Rose was the chef at the Green Room for Harpo. So that's how we met her, and she's been working with us. She's also the executive chef over at the Wickwood Inn, which is the inn that we have over in Saugatuck, Michigan. So we love to entertain, you know, personally, professionally, being interior designers, this is what we do. And Rose has joined our team over there to help lead us in the way.
Yeah, I love working with Martin and Shay. They're amazing people, detail, and I love the detail. Also with the food, detail is very important to us, so yeah.
And one thing about this little tiny kitchen is it's from 1927 and it's really efficient. As you can see, even though it's small, we have a 60-inch Viking stove, which is huge for the whole space. So you'll see this here, very efficient. So Rose cooks a lot of great food out of here. We have the wonderful little prep sink here, and then kind of like the butler's pantry, you'll have all more china and more crystal that we have.
Yeah.
And we're setting up for the bar. We're gonna have a specialty cocktail. Lorenzo just arrived, so I can't wait to see him getting available for us this evening.
And we love this butcher block, this old-fashioned classic butcher block. I love the lines, it shows the meals prepared here. And honestly, this is probably the most used thing in the kitchen. It's like the catch-all, it's the butcher block, the chopping block, the prep station.
And like you see, it's really small. We have this here. You can see how tight it is.
Yeah.
But we can be really efficient. I've seen 4 people cooking here together. And then also what's really nice is adjacent to the kitchen is we have our family room, and there's this wonderful piece of furniture here where we use and we display food and have it when it's more of a casual meal where we're actually entertaining on the outside.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.